When the King of England, Richard III, was thrown into his grave 500 years ago, it started one of the biggest mysteries of all time. Centuries of lies, rumors, myths, and mistakes led to his burial site becoming shrouded in mystery. And the question was, where did he go? All of this led one lady to a small parking lot in England, where all of a sudden, an enormous clue revealed itself. The 25th of August, exactly 527 years since Richard was buried, the team started digging the first trench. But, amazingly, just 6 hours into the first day, they came across a skeleton just a few meters away from the letter R. It had major damage to the skull and a uniquely curved spine. Richard was often referred to as a hunchback, with one shoulder being higher than the other. This curved spine and the damage to the skull was a big sign that they had just found Richard III. But in order to really prove it was him, the team had to use every modern technique imaginable. One method was to take DNA from the skeleton and see if it matched with a known descendant of Richard III. One of the best chances was to look for the mitochondrial DNA, but this type of DNA only gets passed down by mothers. And so the team had to hope that there was an unbroken line of female generations that led all the way to Richard III. Amazingly, there was. By looking instead at Richard III's sister, they were able to track down 16 generations of females, all the way to a woman called Joy Brown. Sadly, she had passed away, but her son, Michael Ibsen, was still alive. The same DNA that Richard got from his mother should also have been passed down to Michael Ibsen. But if just one of these points in the family tree was incorrect, it would throw the whole thing off. And so, to make it more certain, they traced down another line of females, which led to a woman called Wendy. By comparing her DNA with Michael's, they were able to confirm that they were both related to each other, and therefore direct descendants of Richard III's mother. Before they could get DNA results from Richard's skeleton, they sent it off to do carbon dating tests, which would determine the age of the skeleton. Our bodies absorb carbon-14, but when we die, the carbon-14 starts to decay at a known rate. By calculating how much carbon-14 was left in the skeleton, the scientists could determine how long the body had been dead for. As it turns out, the results initially showed that the body was a few decades older than Richard's. But what the results also showed was that whoever it was, they had a protein-rich seafood diet, which would have only been possible for someone living a high-class life. This was a crucial bit of information, because a diet like this would have altered how much carbon-14 was lost. Factoring this in, the new results showed that the skeleton was almost certainly from the time of Richard's death. At the same time, the results from the DNA test were in, and they showed a clear match between Michael and the skeleton, proving that the search for Richard III was over.